Hello, this is Andrew Collinson, Research Director of STL Partners and Telco 2.0. I'm here today at the New Digital Economics Brainstorm in Singapore. It's November/December 2011. And I'm here today with Gil Genio from Globe. Gil, can I ask you to introduce yourself and what you do?
My day job is to supervise business customers as well as our international markets business. But I also do two other things in the company that are relevant today. One is I run corporate strategy and business development for Globe, particularly talking about new initiatives, a portfolio of new things that we need to try, very similar to the topics being discussed in this forum. I also help the company with business transformation, something that we are going through today that are probably also tied to some of the topics we are discussing today.
And Globe is operating in the Philippines. Can you tell me a little bit about the Philippines market, just some sort of basic background of it, the nature, size and the distribution of feature phones, smartphones, etc.?
The Philippines, very briefly, is a 90 million population country. Mobile penetration is already in the 80s and rising. 97% of mobile customers in the Philippines across all networks are prepaid. The postpaid base, which accounts for the balance, in the case of Globe, happens, however, to be a large contributor of revenues. As much as 20 to 24% of our revenue base on the consumer mobile really comes from postpaid, which is a tiny sliver of the postpaid
base. And what's the sort of smartphone feature phone mix like in there?
The vast majority, 90+%, are in feature phones. It's really tied to the economics or the demographics of the country. So the postpaid base are the ones that have the new phone. So typically the 3 to 5% sliver of mobile customers have the smartphones. The rest of the population have feature phones. So for example, in the case of Globe, almost 30 million customers, and yet we barely have 5 million 3G capable type smartphone devices.
And yet the challenges you face are very familiar to many people in sort of Western European and US markets. And we were talking earlier that the big challenge is how do I grow revenues?
Yes, in fact, we have not only the challenge that most telcos around the world are talking about, but we have a double-barreled challenge. We have come from an environment where, as penetration rises, there is intense competition on the traditional messaging and voice. And we've built our networks based on traditional SMS and voice. So one major problem that we're going through today is as volumes rise because of competition, whether it's minutes of use or SMS messages, with intense price competition from everybody. We have to rebalance our network spend to make sure we have significantly more capacity in an era where the networks were originally designed for voice and SMS, but no longer for tomorrow with all of those voice traffic. Simultaneously, the other barrel that's staring us down is the fact that more and more people have smartphones and similar devices. And the data traffic that they're consuming far outweighs what the traffic is from everybody else. And we also have to calibrate. And in fact, we just announced a major network investment in order to be able to cater for a network of tomorrow, basically a data-driven network. So we do have that interesting challenge. Yes, we still are preserving voice and SMS revenues, but the average yields are dropping like a rock. Simultaneously, we know that there's a tidal wave of data that we will have to contend with, not only to be able to support it, but we know already that as penetration of those services go up, it will continue to, in fact, cannibalize our voice and SMS revenues.
So you have many different responsibilities in your jobs, many challenges to face as well. Of those challenges, which would you pick as the number one challenge for Globe right now?
The immediate challenge that we have is how to transform the company into one that is a little bit more adept at meeting the needs not only today but of tomorrow. There is obviously a severe competition that's going on that, to us, flat revenues is victory. But we know that that's not sustainable because there will come a point when there's 100% or even more penetration, that our hope for voice and SMS, the traditional core revenues of the company, will no longer be there, and that will continue. That will now be eroded by the fact that more people are on data plans.
So, Gil, what would you say is the most important challenge amongst the many that you face?
It's really imminent, is how do we make sure that we are prepared, not only for a significant tidal wave of voice and SMS because of price competition, but also to prepare ourselves for the time of day when data traffic will continue, or maybe not continue, will start eroding the SMS and voice base that we have. And we really have to do two simultaneous things. One is, of course, transform the entire network and delivery capability, and simultaneously change the business models and try out many different things, almost like have a portfolio of initiatives that will allow us some hope to recover some of that revenue through some mechanism. We don't know yet which ones will pan out, but a mindset change of let's try a number of things and have a portfolio is a big mind shift change for a telco like us.
And how long do you think you have to make the change?
We are lucky in the sense that with a new CEO and a new environment, and Globe actually went through a very tough patch in a very intensely competitive industry, that we had a case for change, and we could show people what is actually happening on the ground in our traffic statistics with people, what are using it for, the Facebooks of the world, the Googles of the world. For example, most people actually use Facebook in the Philippines, and they will do that whether in a mobile phone or in some internet cafe in the corner. So people could see that rationally, but how do you step away from being wedded to the traditional revenues and accept that it is bound to decline? That is a mind shift change that I suspect will take maybe a year or two to register with most people.
So not long.
Not long. Hopefully not long.
Gil Genio, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.